And we're back for some second half action. This is Greg Marliov pulling for the Polar Bears with an 8-5 lead here at the inaugural U.S. Open. Observers ruling offsides.
We've seen a few offsides calls this tournament, actually. It seems as if teams early in the season just aren't quite used to playing with observers. So what happens is the first offside's just a warning. It'll be a repull. The second offside's within the same game for a team. It'll result in a yardage penalty. So if you're the pulling team, the opposing team or the offense will receive it at half field. And if you're the offense and you step off the line before the pull is released, then you will have to take it at the reverse brick mark, which is the middle of the end zone.
Marliov again with the pull. Slow White setting up in a side stack. Kim Sabo finds Malinowski. She's been everywhere this game with the push pass to Jeff Smith, looking deep. And that's Cody Rebholz with the grab. Slow White coming out smooth and clean, making a play. That's just what you need to generate some momentum in the second half if you're down.
There's beautiful offense there from Slow White. That kind of side stack setup will really open up that one side of the field. You saw their cutters getting open under Malinowski, most notably just getting a huge gainer there, put up a risky push pass that made it look beautiful. And they were able to set up a cutter streaking deep. Rebholz brought that down over Simon Higgins for the Polar Bears.
I'm on it.
We've seen a number of tricky passes here from Slow White, a couple push passes, some nice break mark throws. They obviously put the time in practice working on those throws, and when you practice those in practice, it's not just about learning how to do them, but it's also gaining the trust that your teammates aren't going to throw them. You need to learn to expect to catch those passes. Malinowski's certainly got a toolbox of skills to choose from. Polar Bears wait for the pull. Roeder reels it in, finds Rady. And now we see some junk. That's zone from Slow White. Talked about it in the first half, just to try to slow down some of their momentum, make them think a little bit.
And while it looks like they were trying to get that disc trapped on the sideline, Polar Bears seem to break through it pretty easily. Kircher close to the end zone now. Sussman almost with a run-through D there. Julie Sussman has been all over the Polar Bears today on defense, making layout plays. She almost tipped that one to Rady.
Polar Bears get lucky there, finding Dahlman in the back of the end zone.
That disc went right through Adrian Altobelli's hands. She almost had a play on it. Dahlman doing a good job. Almost didn't expect that throw. Picks it up right as it comes to him.
You know, Polar Bears able to score the goal there, but they did an excellent job of disrupting the flow and actually had two different chances for a block there on that point. Taking a look at our other semifinals in the Open Division, Johnny Bravo running away with it, 12-5 against Truck Stop, and Shane Lightning up 10-6 early in the second half. In the women's division, Scandal still in the lead, 10-6 against Showdown, and Riot still in control of the game, 10-3. Looking at our coverage for the rest of the day, the next game we'll be broadcasting is the women's final, which at this time, if things go as they're going, would be Riot against Scandal. And on the men's side, if things go as they're currently going, we would see Chain against Johnny Bravo, who has to be the favorite here. It's their home tournament, and they've really been rolling this weekend.
Johnny Bravo has been so fun to watch at this tournament. They look so clean, totally fired up. They have some great pickups this year. It's going to be a great game.
Clay Miller picks up the disc. And fires cross field. A little too hot to handle. Leads to a turnover. And Slow White gets the disc back on their O point. Smith picking up the disc. Vertical stack. Finds Malinowski. 10 yards outside the end zone. Back to Smith with another push pass. Malinowski. Malinowski flips to the front of the end zone. Rosie Ano comes up with the grab. Malinowski doing it all for Slow White.
Malinowski has been all over this field. She's getting dump passes. She's getting open in. She's pulling down floaty throws. Such a crucial player for Slow White.
You know, Malinowski is the type of player who obviously can dominate in the mixed division, but there's no doubt in my mind that she could step over into the women's division and be just as powerful.
She was a big part of the Michigan Flywheel college team in their run at the 2011 national championships. They actually got the silver medal there, but she was a huge player for them. Absolutely crucial on any team she's playing on.
Slow White, Mike Miller with the pull, down 9-7. And the Polar Bears looking to receive. Kircher, Naru, Roeder, Dahlman, Rady. This is Dahlman.
Slow White's back in man defense. It's like they didn't think that zone worked quite as well as they would have liked. They're definitely fired up here.
Rady. Polar Bears really relying on the ability of their dumps to get open, and Dahlman finds some space in the back of the end zone, and no one's going to touch him back there. Reels it in for the 10-7 Polar Bears lead.
And I think that's the kind of plays we've been waiting to see from Lucas Dahlman in this game. He's been so dominant the whole tournament. He has suffered sort of an elbow injury. We were talking to their captain, said he hyperextended his elbow, making it potentially hard for him to throw, but not hard for him to catch those kinds of discs, getting so much distance between him and his defender. Excellent cut from Dahlman.
The interesting thing about Dahlman is he seems to start a lot of the points in the backfield. He'll be that initial primary dump, and that allows him, with that incredible speed, to extend his deep cut a few steps before his defender is even able to pick up on it, and by that time, he's got a 10-yard gap, and that's an easy throw for most of the Polar Bears handlers. Marliov sets up his D-line. It's Anchi So.
We do see Kevin Cox back on the field. We mentioned earlier he suffered an ankle injury. Cox has been a big player for San Diego State, most recently LPC, and he played for the open team San Diego Street Gang in recent years.
Malinowski finds Truesdale. Back to Ano. A late bid there from Wardle. Pick called. Kim Sabo comes up with the grab, but this one's going back. Bit of a cluster going on downfield for Slow White. No one back in the handler spot. Sabo comes and bails her out. Swings to Smith. Back to Ano. Truesdale. Truesdale looking deep. Marliov looking to make a play. But it's Cody Rebholz that comes up huge over Marliov for the grab. 10-8 now for Slow White.
And you could see that play develop as Rebholz streaks deep. Slow White has excellent throwers. They are going to put that up 100% of the time. They have so much trust in Rebholz, and those kinds of plays are exactly why.
And that's challenging one of the best defenders on Polar Bears. That was Captain Greg Marliov. And, if you're Polar Bears, that's the type of shot that you want to be taken so a guy like Marliov can make the play. But, Rebholz got the better of Marliov there.
Definitely.
So far this half, Slow White scored and then came down with a junk defense. Got an opportunity for a block. Then they came down in their man-to-man defense, had another opportunity for a block.
So these rounds are slightly shortened at the tournament, mostly due to having to move fields, actually because of the tragedies with the forest fires. The original location, the Air Force Academy, had to be relocated to here. We're at the Fountain Valley School. Beautiful fields, excellent conditions to play in. But because of that, the rounds have been shortened to 75 minutes. And there actually isn't a soft cap here. So at 75 minutes, they'll go straight into hard cap. We're at 25 minutes left on the game clock here.
Slow White coming down in a loose man-to-man. They're poaching the lanes. You can see the handlers are just sitting in the open lane, making the Polar Bears dump to their handlers.
I really like this defense. Polar Bears look very confused. Their cutters downfield are having such a hard time getting open. They're used to having the center of their field open to make those in cuts, and right now the Slow White poachers are taking that away very effectively.
Slow White making adjustments on their defense, and it's obviously having effect on the Polar Bear offense. Rady with the throw and go to Roeder.
Normally what we see from the Polar Bears is a dump and then an immediate option, and they are just not showing that right now. Excellent defense by Slow White here. If I'm Slow White, I'm hoping to get the Polar Bears frustrated and make them put up some of those riskier shots. Right now, the Polar Bears aren't winning the game in the air.
You can see the Polar Bear handlers just swirling around the handler right now. Kirkland makes a call. Foul on the play, coming in on 0. And here we have it. The pressure forces a turnover. Credit goes to the Slow White defense from not allowing any downfield passes. Alex Trahey picking up the disc for Slow White, looking immediately to the end zone. And nobody home. Rady picking up the disc.
Good opportunity missed for Slow White there. Excellent defense. But defense like that is very tiring. It's going to be hard for them to keep that up. And here we can even see Paige Kircher and Natasha Wan are splitting the deep defender very well. Both cutting in and out, creating multiple options.
Dahlman to Kirkland. Kircher. And Naru finding space in the middle of the field. Goes with the break mark flick, and that's Rady in the end zone. Reels it in. Polar Bears hold, but it wasn't easy. Polar Bears coming up with the goal, but they really had to work for it. They're up 11-8, but Slow White has made some adjustments that are allowing them for opportunities for blocks.
Right, unfortunately, that was a golden opportunity missed for Slow White there. That was a one-throw turnover. No attempt to even reset the disc to the middle of the field or look for a shorter pass. That was a goal that Slow White could really have used at this point.
Yeah, and that's a tough decision to make in that situation. When you're only 10, 15 yards outside of the end zone and you're on the sideline, there's just not a lot of room for error on a throw like that. If you're going to put it in there, there's no really space to float it to because all the players are in the end zone. It's got to be a blade, and it's got to be perfectly accurate. You really want to try to dump and swing to create some space when you're on the sideline near the end zone. Sabo tries to break to Truesdale. Pitcaithy with the pressure on the mark forces the tough throw. Now Polar Bears with an opportunity for the break. Wardle picking up the disc.
And that even looked like a miscommunication. Truesdale was not expecting that disc.
Kevin Cox playing injured, delivering. Now Marliov. Marliov looking deep. That's Cox in the end zone. Reels it in for the break. Polar Bears with a 12-8 lead.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see Kevin Cox. Though he has an ankle injury, he is that fast. He gained such separation between him and his defender. He's going to be a very scary opponent when he's fully healthy again.
And Marliov showing the confidence. He's really been the leader of the D-line for the Polar Bears. Everything seems to run through him, whether it's a break throw, whether it's a huck. Marliov stepping up, taking the lead for his team in crunch time. There was an obvious difference there in the defense from Slow White from their O-line compared to the defense that we saw from their D-line. The D-line doing an excellent job pressuring the underneath and also pressuring the dumps. That time, Polar Bears, their D-line's offense able to swing the disc immediately to the field, couple gainers, and then an easy huck from Marliov. Truesdale finds Rebholz underneath.
See Slow White setting up that side stack again. It's really opening up the field here for them.
Sabo.
Huge gainers here.
Trying to find Truesdale. Foul on the mark.
Looks like Kircher won't contest.
And this is that same position that they were in before. They're trapped on the sideline. Looking to center the disc. Polar Bear defender gets beat up line. Smith with the disc. Again looks to the back corner of the end zone. He's got Rebholz. Making it 12-10 Polar Bears.
You know, we were talking about how those throws are risky in general, except with receivers like Cody Rebholz, the risk goes to almost zero. He's so tall. He can get to so much space. You could put up a floaty throw. You could put up a blade. He'll probably come down with it.
Well, and the difference between those last two situations was that one was basically just throwing to a basically stationary cutter, whereas the one before was trying to lead someone into a space with a blade. When you throw that blade, it's not really catchable for a long time, and when you're on the run, that's a difficult catch to make, as opposed to this one where they completed it. He was open on the far side of the field. The blade, similar throw to a hammer. You don't want to throw it too much to moving cutters. Just drop it in over the top. Rebholz able to reel it in. Games will be played to 15. Polar Bears with the 12-10 lead. And here comes that Slow White D-line. Miller with the disc. He's had some huge pulls throughout the weekend. Been dropping into the back of the end zone. Miller with the huge pull. This one drops into the back of the end zone, but trickles out the back. So that one landed in. Landed out by a few yards. Rotor will take it from the brick.
Now we've got just under 20 minutes left of play. Slow White needs to come back with a break here. They've got a junky sort of defense coming out. It's been working great for them this whole game.
Rotor looking deep for Shanker. He's got his man, and Shanker reels it in. Excellent throw there by Rotor. Shanker taking off from the handler position. That's oftentimes one of the best cuts you can make. Gives you time to allow separation, and Rotor delivers.
You know, those were the risky shots that Slow White is actually trying to force because they know it hasn't been working out for Polar Bears. But when you've got a great thrower like Rotor tossing to AJ Shankar, who is one of the fastest players on the field right now, you're going to have some trouble keeping that one from being a score.
(13-10) Polar Bears. Marliov steps to the line. Sets up his D-line. Looking at the Slow White line, we see Malinowski setting up. Gotta expect her to be involved heavily in this next O point. Malinowski finds Smith to Ano.
Very fast moving from Slow White here.
This is Alex Trahey on the disc. Marliov setting up on the mark.
All of these throwers have held it less than even just a few seconds. They're really benefiting from the Polar Bears, giving them those shots, letting them set up great dump and swing options just like that.
Rebholz to Smith. Smith looking deep. Maybe a little too much blade on this one. And Trahey can't reel it in. When you're throwing those hucks and they're wide open, got to keep it flat. Give them an opportunity to catch it when there's no defender. Trahey a bit rattled, holding his elbow as he walks off the field. Evan Batistis steps to the field. And Marliov will try to lead yet another break for the Polar Bears.
And it looks like Kevin Cox will come off the field here. We've got Lucas Dahlman coming in. It's a good substitution. Dahlman usually an offensive player. Coming in for Kevin Cox, usually a defensive player, but at the moment, Dahlman is the one who can make those huge athletic plays in the air. Cox has been having a harder time making those plays happen with his ankle injury.
Nice break to Marliov. Marliov looking deep. He's got Dahlman. Dahlman against Truesdale, and Dahlman runs it out, drags his feet past the spin ultimate tent for another break for the Polar Bears. 14-10. And that might have been the nail in the coffin.
Greg Marliev made that look so easy. He just got a throw open under. He set up his huck. He trusts Lucas Dahlman. Dahlman so fast. But Dave Truesdale actually was coming in close, but Dahlman still was able to outrun him. Marliev was able to put that huck far enough ahead of him so that he could run onto it. It's pretty challenging. That was a very long huck, about 60 yards or so, maybe even more, to the back of the end zone. Excellent, excellent play from Lucas Dahlman, who just came in for Kevin Cox.
Marliov has come up huge today for the Polar Bear D-line. He's been involved in everything. Early in the game, we saw him break the mark for an end zone goal. All of his hucks, it seems like all of his hucks have been completed. really stepping up huge here in the final, giving his team a 14-10 lead, looking to take home the first ever U.S. Open Championship trophy. Miller centers to Ano, finds Malinowski, and the turnover.
Drop from Rebholz there.
Wardle looks to pick up.
Polar Bears on the doorstep.
Nice break from Wardle. Popped up, but Anchi Su comes up with it, and Miller with the SWAT D, and now he's streaking deep. Rebholz looking deep, plays a conservative, and dumps to Ano.
That was a good holster from Slow White. They know they have to score here, or the game is over.
Malinowski. Anchi Su on the mark, dumps Miller.
And Malinowski is off. That throw goes up right to her in the end zone.
Looks like a bit of a miscommunication there between Miller and Malinowski. Miller expecting her to cut back to her back shoulder, put it before she cut. She didn't anticipate the throw. Anchi Su was there to clean it up. And Marliov taking advantage, using a timeout here. They're going to make absolutely sure that they close the door on this point.
Just in case they start up.
Polar Bears here on the verge of their first U.S. Open championship, maintaining the momentum that they had from last year, finishing in finals at the club championships. An update from the Open division. Johnny Bravo has taken their semifinal against Truck Stop 15-6, and they will be meeting Chain Lightning, who were able to defeat Ring of Fire 15-10. We'll have a Bravo Chain final. Coming up, that'll be our last final that we'll broadcast here. Women's final right before that. And Marliov finds Kevin Cox. Wardle. Marliov. Colin Coyne.
Polar Bears setting up in this horizontal stack. It's giving them tons of options.
Kircher to Wardle. Swings to Marliov. Sue. Nice break throw to Coyne. Excuse me, that's not Coyne, that's Cox. Now to Coyne. Marliov finds Wardle.
Polar Bears are just running right now. Plenty of options all over the field. They're working hard, moving that disc easily.
Coyne finds Cox. Cox looking to break to the flick side and finds Palak Shah for the goal and the first ever U.S. Open Championship. Polar Bears 15-10. As we take a look at this final goal, the Polar Bears punching it in. And you got to be happy if you're captains Anchi Su and Greg Marliov. Your team, even though you've had turnover of 9 new players, still coming out on top here in your first major tournament of the year.
And talking to them, the captains, before the game, they said their goal for the tournament was to improve every game, to make their last game the best. They've definitely shown that here. They had some trouble early in this tournament, but this is a Polar Bears team to be afraid of for the rest of the season. Slow White also learning some things during the game, switching up their defense quite impressively, putting up some great plays, but it was just not enough to slow down the Polar Bears in this game.
And so our first final of the U.S. Open Championships goes to the Polar Bears. Anchi Su and Greg Marliov leading their team to victory, 15-10 over the Slow White. We'll be back in a few minutes for the women's final, which is going to be Scandal against Riot. On behalf of Maya Ziv, I'm Mario O'Brien. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with you in a few minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to present the Team Spirit Award for the mixed division. Following every game, each team was asked to rate its opponent on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest level of sportsmanship. These ratings were averaged, and the mixed team with the highest score will now be awarded the Team Spirit Award trophy. Please come down to the U.S. Open sign when your name is called. At this point, we'd like to congratulate Golden Spike for demonstrating what sportsmanship is all about, even at this, the highest level of competition.
Oh, okay. We're good on that. Good to go.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the awards area at the north sideline of Field 1, where USA Ultimate will now present the Mixed Division Awards. Congratulations to Slow White, the silver medalist at the inaugural 2012 U.S. Open Ultimate Championships.
Come on up, guys.
Congratulations once again to Slow White, this year's silver medalist at the 2012 U.S. Open Ultimate Championships. time for a photo op. Action photo.
Oh, let's do a crazy one.
Okay.
Hey, Skippy.
Hey, Kevin.
I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this.
It worked.
Come on, Miller, get with the program.
Oh, no. Mine went crazy on that, you guys.
Congratulations, guys. Good game.
All right, the trees that we have most. Thanks, Steve.
And now, the presentation of the gold medals and the championship trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2012 U.S. Open champions in the mixed division from San Francisco, California, Polar Bears. Right.
Hey, Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa. Simon's middle.
Don't put it up there, Simon. They'll never get it on camera. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, your 2012 Mixed Division champions, Polar Bears. Give them a big round of applause. By the way, Polar Bears, I bet you think those medals and trophies are pretty cool, but we got a little something extra for you today. USA Ultimate would like to present a special prize to today's champions, and here to present a check for $1,500, the USA Ultimate CEO, Tom Crawford.
I'm Maya Zib here at the inaugural U.S. Open with Polar Bear captains Anchi Su and Greg Marliev. First off, congratulations, guys, on a great win. How do you guys feel right now?
Oh, we feel great. Like, oh, just get out of here. We feel really great. I'm really proud of the team on how hard we worked. I think we've come a long way in just the last 4 days. We still have some work to do for the rest of the season, but I think it's a really good start.
Definitely. Well, Greg, you especially were a huge part of the defense. Well, both of you definitely, but you had excellent throws and big plays. So how do you guys set those up? Like, what's the basic strategy going into calling a line, for example?
Well, I mean, it was easy. It was easy at the end of this game because we had so many injuries. We only had like 5 guys to work with on D, but we just talk about running hard and using our legs to set up the plays and getting open. I mean, we have a lot of guys running really hard, working really hard so that they can run hard the whole weekend, and that's what makes all those plays possible.
Definitely. So leading up to this tournament, you guys talk about running hard. We've got some low oxygen air up here, makes it kind of hard. How much training do you guys do, especially since it's early in the season, leading up to this tournament?
I mean, we do a lot of track workouts. We had a team trip to Tahoe to kind of acclimate ourselves a little bit or kind of try it out once. But yeah, we just do a lot of workouts outside of practices and have really hard practices to work on our game.
Awesome. So what's next for the Polar Bears? Tournaments coming up. Hopefully, you know, working through the series to the big show. But until then, what have we got coming up in the pipeline?
We got Revolution next, the local tournament. It should be good. There's a lot of good teams from the Bay, so it should be fun and challenging. And then we'll have ECC and Labor Day as our other 2 tournaments, getting the necessary games for bids to nationals, and then we'll have the series. So looking forward to it.
Definitely. Well, good luck across the season. Hope to see you guys at tournaments soon. Bay Area Polar Bears winning the mixed division of the inaugural 2012 U.S. Open. Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, Maya.